Hello, Spartans. My name is Lauren Robertson, and I am one of the school counselors at South Caldwell. And today I am joined by Miss Emma Kroll-Smith, our four-year college advisor, and Miss Mitzi Triplett, our transition advisor for Caldwell Community College and Technical Institute. Every year at South Caldwell, we always try to do a spring college parent night to provide information for our freshman, sophomore, and junior students and their families about what the college admission process looks like and what you need to be doing as an underclassman to prepare. Unfortunately, we're unable to meet with you in person, but we still wanted to make sure that you had this information. So we will be presenting these slides just like we would at a parent night. And on our school website, you're going to find this presentation as well as all the links mentioned that are going to be helpful as you're looking for schools and making plans for your child's future, as well as just the admission average page for local colleges in North Carolina, as well as a form that you can fill out if you would like for one of our counselors or our 2-year or 4-year college advisor to follow up with you to answer any questions or just continue the conversation about preparing your child for college. To get us started, we like for students to consider several different questions as they're trying to make their plan for what they want to do after high school. The first thing we always want them to remember is, what careers are you interested in? Different careers require different qualifications, different lengths of schooling, lots of different options. And so as students are, making their plans for college, we want to make sure that they're choosing, the college option that fits their career interest. For example, some students might choose to be a dental hygienist. And while there are some 4-year schools that offer a 4-year degree in dental hygiene, there's also community colleges that offer this same program that allow you to complete this degree in 2 years versus 4 years. Also, when you're looking at schools, you want to make sure that they have a major that you're interested in. For example, you wouldn't want to go into, mechanical engineering and go to UNC Chapel Hill because they don't have a mechanical engineering program. So we want to definitely consider your child's career interests as we're planning for their future. The next thing we want students to consider is, where can they see themselves? Do they see themselves at a community college only going for, maybe a couple months, a year, 2 years? Or do they see themselves attending a 4-year college? That's an important thing to consider as well. Also, as we're considering and making plans, we need to make sure what they're doing in high school is going to equip them to take that next step. So we're going to want to see, what does their GPA, their ACT and SAT scores look like, and do those match those admission requirements for those schools. So colleges look for lots of different things, and we're going to talk through these different things in more detail in the slides that follow, but academics are a huge portion of the admission process. Colleges look at your grades, and they like to see that even if you didn't do as well freshman year, your grades have continued to improve throughout high school, because that shows them that you are committed and you are trying your best to achieve your goals. Also, we know right now that we're in a different time and school looks very, very different. Junior years are typically the last grades colleges see before accepting or denying you. And right now in these uncertain times, we know this can be something very, very stressful. But we wanted to assure you guys that what's happening is it's not just happening in our city, in our state. This is a national occurrence. And so when you're applying to schools next year for the class of 2021, colleges are going to know that your junior grades are going to look a lot different because of this pandemic. So we've just got to keep remembering that. And so, continue doing your best in your classes, but just know colleges are going to be understanding. The next thing colleges look for is course selection. How many honors, dual enrollment, college classes, AP classes are on your transcript? They like to see that you're taking the most rigorous classes. And we'll see this in a little bit more detail in just a few minutes. Test scores are also a critical part of the admission process. But again, you'll see that this is one piece of several pieces. So again, it's important not to fixate on one of these things because colleges look at you as a whole. They look at all of these things. They also want to make sure that you meet those minimum course requirements. And for our public UNC system schools, those are going to be your 4 math classes, your 4 English classes, your 3 science classes, and your 4 social studies classes. And as long as you meet all of your graduation requirements, you will meet those. But the extra thing you've got to do, specifically if you're planning on attending a 4-year college or university, is you have to have 2 consecutive foreign languages. So Spanish 1, Spanish 2, or French 1 or French 2. This is not, I'm going to take Spanish 1 and French 1. It has to be 2 of the same languages. And colleges also like to see that you do more than just come to school and do your work. They like to see that you're working. Maybe, you have to babysit younger siblings, and that's your job. Maybe you're working at a grocery store. Maybe you're volunteering with volunteers at hospice. You're playing on sports teams. You're involved in beta club. Whatever it is, they want to see that you're involved and that you are doing things outside of the school day. So when it comes to, your academics, that's largely looked at by your GPA. So I just wanted to quickly review how to calculate your GPA. So all of your grades are given a number. So for example, an A counts as 4 grade points, a B counts as 3, and a C counts as 2. And these are all in standard classes. So, English 1, Spanish 1, anything like that. So to find your GPA, you just add up all of your grades and divide it by the total number of classes that you're in. So for example, most juniors right now have 20 credits. So they would just add up all their grades and divide by 20. Now, that's their grades up until the end of first semester junior year. But if you notice here, honors classes and AP and college classes are given different points and are weighted. So for example, an A is equal to a 4.5 in an honors class. And then an AP or college classes, an A is equal to a 5. This impacts your weighted GPA that colleges look. So talking more about course selection. So colleges like to see that you're taking the most rigorous classes available to you. Now, when you look at, the schools that you're applying to, their website will tell you a little bit more about what they're looking for. For example, UNC Charlotte says that, in your senior year, in addition to English, they want students to take additional math, science, and foreign language courses. And they also expect a solid schedule of academic courses in the spring semester. So what that means is even if you've had your 4th math class as a junior, they want you to still keep taking those math and science classes because those are rigorous classes that are continuing to prepare them to be successful at UNC Charlotte. Also, when they say they expect a solid schedule of academic courses, is they don't want your spring to be nothing but electives. So they don't want your spring to only be, office assistant, PE, and 2 other electives. They want to see you taking core classes that are rigorous and challenging to you. But if we look at NC State, they sort of take a different approach. Their website says that they're looking for strong grades and competitive courses beginning your first year of high school. So they're expecting, rigorous courses all throughout. And so, if you're hoping to go to NC State, even as a sophomore, we want to make sure that you're taking advantage of, honors or AP courses, and then, junior year you can do the college courses as well. If you have specific questions about this, you can visit your schools, the schools that you want to apply to, their website, or you can talk to your counselor or one of our college advisors, either one. So like we said earlier, standardized tests are another part of the college admission process. And we know right now for our current juniors, this is going to look a little bit different just because of everything going on with COVID-19. So generally for everybody, we recommend that you try to take at least one of these tests twice before October of your senior year. And this is for several reasons that we'll cover in the following slides. So first, I want to talk to you all about just a general testing timeline. So in 10th grade, we recommend that students sign up to take the PSAT at our school. This does cost money, but it is a lot cheaper than a real SAT, so it's a good, cheap way to practice for the SAT. And again, this is just a practice SAT, and it isn't used for college admission purposes. Also, the state of North Carolina requires all 10th graders take the pre-ACT in October. Again, this is just a practice ACT. It doesn't count for college admission purposes. Then in 11th grade, you can take the PSAT again for practice. But if you take it this time as a junior, if you score well, you can qualify for scholarship money. So if you are a very strong test taker, we recommend that you definitely take the PSAT your junior year. We also want to make sure that our juniors are fully prepared for the real ACT, so you'll take another practice ACT at school. Again, it is just practice and it's not used for college admission purposes. Then in late February or early March, all juniors are required by the state of North Carolina to take an ACT. You do not have to sign up for this test. If your child is enrolled at our school during that time, they will automatically take it. But after that, you all have to sign up for future tests. And generally, we tell everybody to try to take an SAT, in March of your junior year, and then try to take another SAT or ACT in May or June of your junior year. That way, you've taken those tests at least twice, so your scores are ready to be sent to colleges in the fall. But due to COVID-19, we know that our current 11th graders aren't going to have these opportunities just because lots of these test dates have been canceled. For example, SAT has canceled all spring dates as of this time. There is one more ACT that you can take. So instead, current juniors, we're just going to want to make sure that you take those tests in August, September, or October of your 12th grade year. So that way we have those scores ready to go when those college application deadlines come our way. Now, one thing to think about for current juniors are several schools are becoming test optional next year. And what that means is they're acknowledging that with all of these cancellations of SAT and ACT dates, they're not going to require SAT and ACTs. So for example, Davidson College has made this decision and Virginia Tech has made this decision. But not all schools have made this decision. So as you're seeing things in the news, make sure you're checking those college websites for the places you plan on applying for to make sure whether or not they've made their school test optional or if it is still required. And so, we take standardized tests multiple times for several reasons. One is if you take it at least twice, you're allowed to super score, and this is for both the SAT and the ACT. So in this example, it's sample SAT scores. So, the first time you do better on the critical reading portion, and then the second time you do better on the math portion. So you can then combine that 570 and 580 for an even higher score than the 1120 or 1140. And you can do the same thing with the ACT as well. And higher scores not only help you get into school for admission purposes, but they can also translate into scholarship dollars as well. Lots of scholarships and lots of merit-based scholarships at private universities are based on, students' GPA and test scores. And a test scores a couple points higher might translate into $1,000 or more different each year when it comes to scholarship money that students earn. So that's why even if you take it once and you're in that score range where you need to be for your dream school, I would encourage you to take it again just because it might turn out into money later on. Now, when you sign up for these tests, you're also allowed to send it to schools for free when you register. After you register, it then costs you anywhere from $15 to $20 per school. Lots of students get really, really nervous and decide not to send those free score reports. And then when they're applying to schools their senior year, it adds up to, be a couple $100 more because they didn't take advantage of those free score reports. And I know it makes lots of students nervous to go ahead and send those scores before you see them, but just note that colleges are going to look at your highest score. So even if you don't do well the first time you take it, that's okay, take it again, because they're going to use that highest score to determine admission. Also, these tests are expensive, but fee waivers are available for students on free and reduced lunch. And we know that right now our economy has taken a major hit. And so we know that families' financial situations have changed. And it can impact various, decisions. But if your child qualifies for free and reduced lunch, they can take SATs and ACTs for free, as well as use these test fee waivers for college admission fee waivers next year for their application fees. And we also know that in high school, some students pack their lunch, so parents don't always fill out that application for free and reduced lunch. So even if you haven't already filled out that application, you can go to the Caldwell County Schools website, and there's an application online that you can fill out to determine whether or not you qualify, even if you didn't fill out the application at the beginning of the year. So you can go ahead and fill that out anytime. And if you do need a fee waiver, you can just email your child's counselor or Miss Emma Kroll-Smith, our four-year college advisor, and we can help you use those fee waivers when you're signing up for SATs and ACTs. So research shows that if students put a little practice, their test scores will increase. ACT and SAT both have lots of free resources available to students. First, if you are practicing for the SAT, the best option is Khan Academy. It is free, and if you link your College Board account to your Khan Academy account, they're going to use those old PSAT and SAT scores to provide free personalized practice. There's also just lots of sample questions, practice tests, lots of resources for students to use. Same thing with ACT. They just have ACT Academy. You can use your Google login information from school, and there's free practice tests, questions, videos. And again, if you input your pre-ACT, your practice ACT, or your real ACT score in there, they're going to, again, analyze those scores to provide you with free personalized practice. Also, during this time of school closure, ACT has made many of their additional prep classes free. So this practice opportunity that used to cost lots of money is now free to students. So if you have extra time, you can click on this link here or go to the ACT's website to look at those additional free resources. And so these are the upcoming SAT dates. Again, the June SAT date has been canceled. If you previously had signed up for it, you should have received an email from College Board with additional information, or you can check their website. But for our current juniors, we would highly encourage you to sign up to take either that August 29th or October 3rd SAT, so that way we have those scores back before those deadlines in the fall. Now, as you can see, the registration deadlines are not yet available, but when they are, we will let you know, and you can register for an SAT at collegeboard.org. If you need help with this, please let either your counselor or a college advisor know, either one. Now with the ACT, their summer dates are still on schedule at this point in time. It might change, we'll just sort of have to wait and see how it goes. But our current juniors could sign up to take a June, July, September, or October test, so that way they have those scores back before those deadlines. Now, looking at those registration deadlines, you'll notice that you've got to sign up almost a month in advance. So definitely do not wait till the last minute to sign up for these tests. To sign up for these, you'll just go to act.org. Now, our current juniors, when they're signing up to take another ACT, they will need the ACT ID number found on the score report that was mailed to you all. So please hold on to that report, and if you need help, just let us know. And you'll see on here that with both the SAT and the ACT, you can take it with or without the essay. When you're trying to figure out whether or not you need it, look at the school's websites for the colleges that your child's going to be applying to. If that college recommends the essay, sign up to take it. If the college says that the essay is not required, they don't need to take it. So you can look at their college's websites for more information. And so at this point, I'm going to turn the presentation over to Miss Emma Kroll-Smith, our four-year college advisor, who's going to talk to you all a little bit more about the college admission process.
Okay, so I'm going to talk a little bit about making your plan of action and figuring out what schools you might want to apply to. So first, you want to think about a school that fits you. So this is all about you. This is about if you want like a small school or a larger school, what kind of location is best for you, if you want to be closer to home or further away, if you'd like to be near the mountains or the beach. You also want to think about if you want to go to a private school or a public school. And then you definitely want to make sure that whatever major you want to study is offered at whatever school you apply to. Then you're going to think about finding a school that matches you also. So this is all about academics. You want to make sure that your GPA and your SAT and ACT test scores match the average of the typically admitted students. That's really important. You want to make sure that you're competitive for the schools that you're applying to. So after you think about that, you can start making a list of maybe at least 4 schools that you're interested in. And then you want to figure out if you're a good match for the school and if it's a good fit for you. And we'll talk a little bit more about that on the next slide. So these are some good websites you can start doing your research. CFNC.org, which is the College Foundation of North Carolina, they have all of the schools in North Carolina on this website. So you can start looking there. They also have all the community colleges listed on that. And then bigfuture.collegeboard.org is an awesome website. They have all of the universities and colleges in the whole country on that website. They have all their admissions criteria on there. They have deadlines. They have the majors that are offered at that school. They have a lot of information about what kind of SAT and ACT scores and GPA requirements they might have. So that is a great website to start doing your research about colleges. So after you do that, when you're making your list of colleges that you want to apply to, you want to make sure that you have 1 or 2 safety schools. So safety schools are colleges where your GPA and test scores are above their average, so you feel pretty confident that you'll be accepted to those schools. And then 2 to 3 match schools. So these are schools where your GPA and test scores are in their average range. So you still feel pretty confident that you can get in and you'd be happy there. And then a couple of reach schools. So this is where your GPA and test scores are a little bit below their average, but still pretty close, because you never know, but it maybe would be a dream school for you and you definitely still want to give it a shot. So there are minimum requirements for applying to certain colleges. So for the public schools, the four-year public schools in North Carolina, they require at least an 880 on the SAT and a 17 on the ACT. This might change for next year, but right now that's what they're requiring. And then at least a 2.5 weighted GPA. And then you have to meet all the minimum course requirements, which Ms. Robertson already talked about, and then a fourth math and 2 consecutive foreign languages. And then private schools, they vary a little bit. They have a little more flexibility. It depends on each school, but usually they still also require the minimum course requirements. Okay, so there are about 4 different types of college admission deadlines. So the first one we'll talk about is early decision. So this deadline typically falls in October through December. You likely receive your decision sometime between December and January. This is binding. So if you're accepted, you must attend that college. Usually early decision is only offered at smaller, more competitive schools like Duke or Wake Forest. Typically public schools don't offer early decision. But the important thing to remember about early decision is that it is binding. So then early admissions, these deadlines also fall around like October, November. You'd receive your decision again sometime between December and January, but this is not binding. So you do not have to attend the school if you're accepted, but you would find out earlier than other people, which is nice, and it's offered at almost every school. Then regular decision, these deadlines typically fall in January through March, and then admission offers are sent out in late March or early April. And then rolling admissions, this is when college admissions officers look at applications as they come in, and then they send out letters within a couple of weeks. So it's pretty nice. You find out soon after you apply. Not every school offers this. I think in North Carolina, Western Carolina University and UNC Charlotte typically offer it, but not every school does. Okay, so this is how you're going to apply. So one website is common-app.org. It's called the Common Application. There are about 23 North Carolina college applications on Common App, plus a lot of colleges across the country. And then cfnc.org is another way to apply for colleges. All of the community colleges are on cfnc.org, and quite a few of the four-year colleges in North Carolina are also found on that website. And then a lot of colleges also offer their college applications on their own website. So for example, UNC Charlotte, it's on the future49er.uncc.edu website. So a lot of colleges offer it through there as well. And these are some of the parts of an application. So some applications will ask for an essay. Some of them might say it's optional, and if they say it's optional, that means they definitely still want you to write it. That is a big factor when looking at applications. They'll see who actually took the time to write the essay and who didn't. So if they say it's optional, they definitely want you to still write it. You can ask your English teachers to proofread it. You could ask me to proofread it, a parent. You definitely want somebody with a fresh set of eyes to look at your essay and edit it for you. Some applications will ask for recommendation letters. So it's really important that you try to ask at least one core subject teacher for one of these recommendation letters. And then if they let you pick a second recommender, ask someone who knows you inside or outside of the classroom. So it could be a coach, it could be an employer, somebody who knows different sides of your life. And make sure you give them plenty of time to write these recommendation letters, like at least 2 weeks in advance. You definitely want them to have plenty of time to write you a great recommendation. Some applications might ask for a resume, and then all of them will ask for a transcript. You'll have to request this to be sent through either CFNC or Scriborder, which is on South Caldwell's website. And if you've taken any Caldwell classes while you've been in high school, you also will have to have your CCC and TI transcript sent to the university. And then they're also going to require your test scores. Most schools require them to be officially sent through either the SAT or ACT. And then there's usually an application fee. Again, if you're on free and reduced lunch, then you can qualify for college application fee waivers. So you can see myself or your counselor to get a fee waiver for that. Usually application fees range from about $35 to sometimes even $80. So there's a big range, but if you're worried about that, you can talk to us and you might be able to get a fee waiver. So the Common App, which is one website you can apply for colleges on, they have essay prompts. So these are the 7 essay prompts that they're going to be using for this upcoming year. They used them the past couple of years also, and they found that they're really successful essays. People are able to really describe a lot about their lives through them. So that's why they've decided to keep it the same the past few years. So you can take a look at these and start thinking about them. Again, there's a wide range of essay topics on this, so you definitely shouldn't have a problem finding something to write about. Okay, and now we're going to start talking about paying for college. Okay, so college can be expensive. These are some average cost of attendance per year at some schools. So you can see that at Caldwell, it's about $2,500 per year to attend. At Western Carolina, it's about $17,000. And then you can see Duke University is about $70,000. We wanted to put in a private school also so you can see the contrast. Again, this is the average cost of attendance. So this is also factoring in like room and board and personal expenses and certain costs that can be brought down, but this is the average amount. Okay, so paying for college. You will fill out the FAFSA, which is the free application for federal student aid. It's a free application, like it says. You definitely do not have to pay to fill out the FAFSA. It'll open up October 1st, 2020, and you will need a lot of parent or guardian 2019 tax information to fill this out. But this is how you'll get federal grants and loans to help pay for college. And then scholarships. These open up. You can start applying your senior year. Definitely want to apply early and apply often. So yeah, for FAFSA, the Pell Grant, the maximum amount is $6,345. You could also be offered subsidized student loans, unsubsidized student loans, or Parent Plus loans. And this is where you can start your scholarship research. So the South Caldwell Scholarship Database is great. There's a lot of local scholarships on there. Definitely check that weekly during your senior year because it's constantly being updated. And then there's some school-specific scholarships that are listed on their website. So we've linked in Western Carolina scholarship page, the UNC Moorhead Kane Scholarship, a few of NC State's and UNC Charlotte's. So you can check those out. And then CFNC.org also has a lot of scholarships on their website. Golden Leaf is a really big one. They have a ton listed on their website. And then fastweb.com is, they have a lot of national scholarships. One thing to think about is they are national, so there's a lot more competition for them, but they're definitely still worth applying for. And now I'm going to turn it over to Ms. Triplett.
Hi, I'm Ms. Triplett, and I work for Caldwell Community College. I'm the transition advisor, and I'm going to talk to you a little bit about community college. Community college is a great option for pursuing higher education. CCCNTI is one of 58 community colleges in North Carolina with campuses in Caldwell and Watauga counties. Community colleges are very affordable, we're convenient, and we're open door institutions, and that means that everyone is allowed to attend. So instead of placement testing, a high school student's GPA or ACT score is going to be used to determine if the student is ready for college level work. At CCCNTI, there are college transfer options and technical options. CCCNTI offers associate degrees, diplomas, and certificates. There are also short-term training opportunities available through continuing education courses. If a student is planning to attend CCCNTI and then transfer to a university, they would enroll in a college transfer program. Students can complete their associate degree or decide to transfer before completing the degree. There are also transfer options for music and visual arts, so students can get started in art or music courses while they're at CCCNTI. College transfer degrees are guaranteed to transfer to any North Carolina public university, and many of our North Carolina's independent colleges and universities. Now let's look at some of our technical program options. Students can earn associate degrees, diplomas, or certificates in these areas, and they would be ready for their career field. To take a look at these options listed, CCCNTI is continuing to add programs as needs arise in our region. A lot of the programs that you see listed are high demand careers for our county, region, and state. And you can search the CCCNTI website to learn more about these programs. And if CCCNTI doesn't have a technical program you're looking for, please go to websites of our neighboring community colleges like CVCC in Hickory or Western Piedmont Community College in Morganton. Between those three community colleges, you should be able to find the technical program that you're looking for. Some students are looking for some specific training in a career field, and you can look at these training options available through Continuing Ed. These options also tend to be high demand career opportunities. Continuing education courses are very affordable and often can be completed within months. CCCNTI and other community colleges can offer you a complete college experience. There are student activities on campus at CCCNTI like Student Government Association, which hosts monthly activities. TRIO is a fun program for first-generation college students, and we have lots of clubs to be involved in. We also have men's and women's basketball, men's baseball, and women's softball. CCCNTI also has a lot of academic and personal support through our library, writing center, academic support center, and counseling and advising services. We also have a great partnership with Appalachian State University. Aspire Appalachian is a co-admission program. If a student signs up for Aspire and completes their associate's degree within 3 years with a 2.25 GPA or higher, they are guaranteed admission to ASU. Now, one note about that is that for special programs, maybe like nursing or competitive programs at Appalachian, that may have additional admission criteria, but general admission to the university would be granted. Lastly, I want to talk to you just to make sure you understand that CCCNTI offers pathways for high school students who want to get ahead on their career path while in high school. You may have already heard lots about this, so we're just going to take one slide to discuss it. Students can enroll in Career and College Promise and take courses tuition-free while in high school. I'm your contact person. I'm Ms. Triplett, and you can let me know if you have any questions about taking college courses while in high school at South Caldwell. And if you have any questions, you can just let me know as well if you're interested in going to CCCNTI after high school.
So we know we just gave you a bunch of information, so we're just going to sort of recap what, especially, our students can be doing now. So the first thing is just keep up your grades, keep doing what your teachers are asking you. I know it looks a little different right now, but just keep working hard, and we're proud of you no matter what. Your grades in 9th, 10th, and 11th grade are the grades that colleges see, so just keep that in mind. Also, make sure you stay involved in those extracurricular activities, and you try to take on a leadership role. Again, we know that right now everything's been suspended, but it's been suspended across the state. So when you're applying to colleges, it's not going to be a surprise that between March and May of this particular school year, you haven't been able to be involved in anything, and colleges will understand that. But once we're back with our regular schedule, make sure you're staying involved run for a leadership position. And what I always tell students is it's better to have quality over quantity. It's a lot better to be involved in maybe a sport and 1 or 2 clubs and volunteering in one other place than being involved in 10 clubs and 3 sports and volunteering at 10 places. Because what they're going to want to see is that you're spending and you're actually doing something in those activities that you're involved in. So they're going to want to know, are you doing more than just showing up to club meetings, every other week? What are you doing to support that program that you're in? And the other thing is, go ahead while we're not in school, start making a list. What is everything that you have done or been involved in? And you can log this in CF&C. You can start creating a resume, or you might just start a document in Google Drive where you just list everything out. But we find that when seniors start applying their senior year, they end up forgetting some of those awards and volunteer opportunities they won or participated in back in 9th or 10th grade. So go ahead and start a list now. It'll make it a lot easier when you're working on those applications for college and for scholarships. And also for our rising seniors, just be sure that you're ready to start those applications when we get back in the school after this year's over and we're getting ready to start your senior year. Now, specifically for juniors, what we want y'all to do during this time is make sure you're studying for the SAT or ACT. So when you retake an SAT or take an SAT, your scores can be the best they can using those resources we provided earlier. Also, you can virtually tour colleges during this time. So this is the link that you can click on to visit the 17 North Carolina schools from home right now. The other thing you can do is start working on college essays. I know some, English 3 teachers might have you work on this in class, but even if they don't, go ahead and start working on them. Send them, to Ms. Kroll-Smith, your counselor, your English teachers, so we can start helping you and getting those polished so that way they look amazing when we send those off next fall. The other thing is, create a resume, and this goes back to that list of activities. This is helpful to give those people doing your recommendations, so that way they have plenty of examples to add in. And also, again, it just helps you plug in that information when you're doing those applications. And the other thing is, maybe you don't know where to start. You don't know where to go, what you want to do. There are lots of career assessments on cfnc.org that you can do, and based on your interests and your abilities, it can match you with potential career opportunities that are well suited for you, and you can start doing further research from then. The other thing we especially want our juniors and their parents to know is, each spring we typically meet one-on-one with juniors, and we start having those conversations about, what's their senior year going to look like and what do they want to do after high school. We got everybody registered and ready for senior year, and we're trying to have those virtual meetings with students as well. But please know and don't panic. We are here for you through this whole entire process. And even though we haven't been able to meet with you one-on-one in person, we're still here to help. And we will meet again one-on-one with your child again in the fall to go through that application process step by step to make sure that your child knows when the deadlines are and everything like that. Our college advisors typically go into classrooms, and we will have a live senior parent night as well next fall to make sure y'all get that information as well. So at this point in time, if you need additional help, just fill out this form and we will be in touch with you as soon as we can. Thank you.